Hi guys, I'm Nate Arndt, and today I'm going to show you how to hang a tree stand. Now I've been hanging tree stands for the past 5 years, and it's not too difficult, but there are some safety precautions and things like that you need to take to make sure that you do it safely. So I'm going to show you some of those today and show you how to hang a tree stand. But before I do that, I'm going to give you a list of materials or list of things that you should have before you start. To start with, you have your tree stand. Now mine consists of a seat cushion and my tree stand. Now this is a very basic tree stand where it's got your seat, your frame that rests up against the tree, and your platform for your feet. So it's important to have a tree stand, and then also you're going to need some steps. These are just standard screw-in steps where you can pick these up at Gander Mountain or anywhere practically. In any sporting goods store. And also, you're going to need one of these. This is a safety harness. And it is very important that when you're in a tree and sitting in a tree stand, that you wear one of these at all times. So, now that we've got our list of materials, I'm going to take you out to the tree and show you how to hang this stand. Alright, now that you've got all your materials, you are now ready to go find a tree to hang your deer stand in. Now, choosing a tree is very important. This is because if you choose a poor tree, your deer hunting experience and hanging your deer stand will be no fun. And a good tree is a fairly straight tree that is 10 to 18 inches in diameter. And don't choose a dead tree. Dead trees are just bad news all the way around, because there's a good chance that it could break while either you're sitting in it or while you're hanging your deer stand. So just don't choose dead trees, because that's a bad idea. Another thing I should mention about the trees is it's very helpful not to choose a very bushy or limby tree. This is because when you're hanging your stand, it's a pain to haul it through all the branches and all the limbs. With that being said, you can sometimes use limbs as steps. But you have to be very careful when you do this, because you can't use dead limbs or limbs that are anything smaller than 1.5 inches in diameter, because there's a good chance that the limbs will break and you could come falling out of the tree, which is never a good situation. So now that you've chosen a tree, you're going to take your steps and put your steps in. These steps are very simple. They're just self-tapping they're self-tapping steps, and you just screw them in like you would an old-fashioned drill. Now, as you put your steps in, it's very important to place them not too far off the ground and not too far apart, because otherwise it'll make it very difficult for you or whoever's going to be using the deer stand to get in. So, another trick is to place them at a little bit of an angle so you do not have to straddle the entire tree. It makes it easier to climb up, and if you're working on a big tree, straddling a tree is never a good option. Also, make sure you screw your steps in all the way, because if you just screw them into like on this oak tree, there's a lot of bark, and so you want to make sure you get into some good solid wood, so that as you're climbing up, you don't have to worry about your steps pulling out and you're going to fall to the ground. Alright, and now I'm going to start hanging the deer stand, but before I do that, I want to say that I always try and put my steps in such a way that I'm not going to be either coming up directly under my deer stand platform, and I'm not going to be coming up on the opposite side of the tree as my deer stand. For example, with the direction I have my steps right now, I will probably place my deer stand platform right here in my deer stand, so that I'm facing this direction. This is because as I climb up, I will be able to step off this step and step onto my deer stand. And for convenience sake, I'm not going to hang my deer stand any higher than these 3 steps, because I can show you better how I hang it. So, to start with, you're going to take your strap and make sure your strap is loose. And it will go all the way around the tree. This is a very important step to do before you even get into the tree. Because if you get into the tree and your strap is not loose, it is a big pain to try and loosen it. So, you also want to make sure your strap isn't super twisted up or tangled. Because when you place your strap on the tree, you want to make sure that it's nice and straight all the way around. So to start with, I take my tree stand and I fold it up like this. So it's all folded up, nice and compact. You're going to grab it, place these two, this fork type dealio thing, into the tree. And then take your strap, throw it around here. I'll turn so you can see it. And throw your strap around the tree. Here. And you're going to take that and clip it in right here. Right there. I don't know. Can you see that right there?
Yep.
So it clips in nice and tight. Now you're going to place your deer stand right where you want it. So because of the way I've got my steps, I want my deer stand right about there. Now make sure my strap is not twisted again. That looks pretty good. Alright, so I changed sides of the tree so you can see this. But now all you're going to do is you're going to take this tag and pull that tight. So you pull all the slack out of that. You want to make sure you get it real tight, because this is what's going to hold your tree stand up. So you cinch her down nice and tight, like that. And then you're going to come over here and you're going to come make sure that make sure your fork thing is in tight. Take it and put your platform down like that. And the more pressure you apply on your platform, the more, the deeper these two pipes are going to dig into the tree, which will keep you from falling down. And if you're like me, I don't like to fall down at all. So I'm very happy the more pressure I can apply on the end of this platform to make those dig into the tree. Now you also want to make sure that you want to do this before you put your deer stand up, but you want to make sure that your cable isn't frayed anywhere and it looks good. There aren't any rips or tears, and it's not getting old. And then also you want to make sure as you go around the tree that it's not twisted, because if it's twisted, it's going to compromise the strength of your deer stand. And as I was mentioning earlier, I like to have a step that's equal or just a little higher than my platform, because it makes it easier to step onto my deer stand. I don't like to try and have to crawl onto my deer stand from a step that's a foot below it or whatever. It just makes it much more difficult, especially when you're bundled up in warm hunting clothing and things like that. So now all you're going to do is take your seat, put your seat on there. Let's see here. This just comes around, these velcros on like this. There's two of those. And then you're gonna take this strap on the back here. You should take it and tie it to the tree, so you don't have to worry about that falling down. I just do I usually do an overhand knock here. So that'll hold that. And this seat cover, just kind of keep your seat warmer and make sure that you aren't going to be leaning up against the tree, which isn't super comfortable. And that's all there is to hanging a deer stand. But before I go, I'm going to mention a couple safety things. one safety thing is to make sure that you've always got 3 points of contact when you're climbing. So if you're climbing up your steps, you want to make sure that you've got 1 foot, 1 hand, or 1 foot, or either both feet and a hand on the steps, or both hands and a foot on the steps as you're climbing. This is just make sure that you won't fall out of the tree. And also, when you're sitting in your deer stand, you want to make sure that you're wearing a safety harness. This will break your fall if you ever were to fall out of your deer stand, and it will also help prevent you from falling out of your deer stand. So with those few safety tips, I think that wraps up how you hang a deer stand, and good luck when you hang yours.